HTTV in association with Absolute Warehouse Services. David, first of all, welcome to Huddersfield Town. We haven't spoke to you since you were appointed as Head of Football Operations. Talk us through why you came to Huddersfield Town.
I think it was a very easy decision for me. I wanted to go for a club that was in a position where you could try and affect it. I always look at from where your background is of how you can affect a football club with your skill set. So I looked at Huddersfield, they'd just come down from the Premier League. I've had previous success before with Bournemouth at this sort of transitional type role and had good success in it, and I thought I could add really good impact to the role.
Obviously you came in as Head of Football Operations.
Yeah.
What does that role entail?
I think it's different in each club. So I think for Huddersfield it's more of a operational role, sort of hands-on, working with sort of different departments, sort of academy, recruitment, analysis, medical, and also being sort of work intertwining well with a manager. I think that's another role, and just making sure sort of the clubs, the departments are aligned to get one club vision, one club DNA. Obviously that's conclusive of how the manager works, how the club is, and just amalgamating them all together.
I can imagine with that then your day-to-day role is very different.
Yeah, it's never the same day to day, so each day you never know what it's going to look like in terms of production or output, but I think with this sort of role where it's so multi-layered, I think you just have to sort of run with it on a day-by-day basis.
And with that, when you start a role as Head of Football Operations at a new club, there's obviously a lot to understand straight away.
Yeah.
How long does it take to fully understand what and how the club runs?
I think you're always learning. I think I can never give a set time of how you fully appreciate how the club would take to learn. So I think for me you're always learning more and more. You have an idea of the way you want to work and you want to try and implement stuff, but how long that will look like in terms of a time period, you never know. And I think you're always just learning and trying to implement as you go along, based on the facets of the club going forward.
And you had a baptism of fire at Huddersfield Town.
Yeah.
First day on the job, looking for a new manager.
Yeah, I've had easier starts, a lot easier starts, put it that way. So, no, I mean the club was in that situation where obviously it hasn't won a game for a while. Decided to make a change with Jan, and it's part of your role. You just have to sort of embrace it, get on with it, work out what's needed, what type of profile managers would suit the club, and then work from there. Build your sort of shortlist, your pool within that, and then go and then have your targets. And obviously our main targets were Danny and Nicky, and we went after that and was aggressive, and we got them successfully.
I guess with that, straight away you had to learn a lot about the club from Phil Hodgkinson, the chairman, and everyone else to kind of know which manager would be the right fit.
Yeah, and to be fair on that question, I think for me you kind of learn when I was I did a lot of homework. If you're going to go into a new role, you do a lot of homework before that. So I kind of had an idea of the type of club it was, what it would need, what type of manager would fit, and vice versa. So I'd done a lot of homework beforehand, which helped, and obviously Phil and some of the senior staff added to that as well. So it just give me a more sort of clear indication when we go through that process.
There's obviously been a lot of talk about bringing Danny Cowley to the club and the whole process behind that, but since he has been here, how have you two worked together and how do your roles interlink?
Yeah, I think that's always important because they're two new roles, they're two new members of staff, and again that was important in terms of I think it's always the people you have at the club in these sort of roles will make it, try and drive it forward and make it successful. So we'd have a very sort of close day-to-day working relationship in terms of things that need to be discussed, go forward, things you're going to try and implement, because it is ultimately you want to protect the sort of livelihood of the club. Also, you want to implement new ideas that can affect a positive change for the club, and obviously that's quite key into the management football operations role.
And you've got a very strong background in recruitment too. How has that been working in the early stages with Danny Cowley, the recruitment team, to fit our system and his style?
Yeah, and I think it's now we've had a chance to get Danny and Nicky into the club, and obviously we've had sort of a game, you know, we've got another game this weekend. It gives you a chance now to look at all the departments and look at where we are, and recruitment's obviously going to be a massive part of that going forward. So I think with that, it's trying to intertwine it with the way you want it to work, which will take a little bit of time, but you want the club to be aligned going forward. So recruitment's massive to that. So it'll be a continuing process to try and build that in. So when it comes to decisions on players, that everyone is aligned on that decision.
And when a new manager comes in, recruitment in particular, how hard is it for them, first of all, to grasp the style that the new manager wants to play, the roles that they want in each position?
Yeah, I think my background's always been in, sort of, like you mentioned, recruitment. So the success I had and the success the recruitment will have here is building them relationships very early to what the manager's playing style is, what key components you look for in players to fit that. The characteristics in that, and then all the footballing aspects, the technical, tactical, physical, and the profiles of the players there. So it's trying to get that information into the recruitment very quickly. So obviously when they're doing their work out in the field, that it's very closely aligned and joined together.
And it's not just recruitment, obviously, that you've had experience in. You've had a varied number of roles in football. How have they all kind of fit together nicely for you to become the head of football operations? Yeah,
I think your journey makes you. I've been in football for a long time now, since 2002 I first started, and I started off in the community and then started off coaching academy teams, various scouting roles, head of youth academies, and then to more advanced scouting roles. And you've gone through a whole qualification process as well to try and make that align. So you've got I have a master's in sports psychology. You've done all your coaching badges. I've done literally everything you can to get to this role now. So in terms of your qualification and having a multi-skilled background.
Yeah. And with that multi-skilled background, you've worked all over Europe as well, Sweden, Spain, Germany.
Yeah.
How does that give you a better understanding of cultures, style, players?
I think those experience of going abroad is invaluable because it gives you more of an understanding of cultures, like you just mentioned, in terms of like understanding the markets, understanding more from a global point of view, and it gives you a sense when you're doing this type of role. The more information and the more you've learned on your journey. For me, it was always about learning and gaining experience. So that going abroad was a challenge. It was a big challenge, but it's vital now when you're coming back to implement it in this sort of role.
And I suppose one of those most eye-opening roles would have been the one that you previously had at Östersund.
Yeah.
How good of an experience was that?
Fantastic experience. Yeah, real good experience, because I think it's completely different in terms of the level of football, the level of the playing style. Culturally, it's very, very different. But I think I learned a lot from there. I learned a lot from there in terms of you have to have a completely different line of communication. You have your market in terms of recruitment is completely different. You have to learn whole new markets. Then you have to learn how to deal with people on a day-to-day basis, because obviously it's very different how you deal with people here. So you have all those challenges going on, and you also got to try and be effective as well as you're doing that as well, because football's always fast-paced. When you take an impact role like a football operations or technical director, you have to make an impact really, really quick. So it was taking all those ins, taking all that knowledge in, and then trying to impact it very, very quickly of what the club needs.
And obviously this isn't the start that we would have wanted here at Huddersfield Town.
No.
As a club, how do we rectify that?
Obviously now we've got Danny and Nicky in to effect a real positive change on the pitch in terms of the performance and stuff. So I think that was the first and foremost which we had to do. We had to get that change. And when you make a change like that, you're changing the environment. You're changing people's, players, staff's mindsets. So with that, that gives you a better chance of having an impact on the pitch because it brings that positivity in straight away. So I think going forward, the longer that goes on and the more that's implemented, I think then you start to see more of a positive results on the pitch.
And it's obviously been a whirlwind first month for you here at Huddersfield Town.
Yeah.
How have you found that so far, and how excited are you for the future?
Yeah, massively excited because I think it's a new journey. It's a new journey for me personally, and I only want to work in places where you feel you can have an impact and you feel you can try and make change and work with really, really good people to make change. So yeah, in terms of actually getting into the nitty-gritty of the role, that will take time over the next few months. So for me, it has been a whirlwind month, as you say, but now you're looking forward to try and sort of have a role and plan some success in the future.